Hey there, this is Working Actor School. My name is Patrick Labyorteaux, and what follows is a lecture from one of my adult advanced classes. Enjoy. Today we're going to talk about ways to connect with your scene partner. You basically want to have a connection with the other person in the scene so that the back and forth is natural and that you have a real life kind of simpatico and connection. And one of the ways that you go about doing that is creating a connection with your scene partner. And what you want to do is you want to connect with that person on a real level. Sometimes that's easy. Sometimes that's not possible just because the way the other person is, their own personality pushes you back. Aside from that, when you connect with your scene partner, what you're doing is you're building a relationship that you will then bring into the scene with you. One of the first ways to connect with your scene partner is to talk to them. Now, I know that sounds obvious, but what I mean by talk to them is get to know them a little bit, just not, surface level things. Say, hey, do you have a family? Or a little bit more personal than you might want to do if you are just meeting a person that you are not working with, or just in a regular general sense. It does really help. I'll give you an example. When I did the TV show The Offer, in this scene that I was in The Offer, there was Miles Teller, Dan Fogler, Juno Temple. They had had weeks and weeks, maybe months to work together. I only had this 30-second scene with them. It really wasn't much of anything. But what we did, because they were very open and they were actors that like to sit in their chairs near the set, they didn't go back to their trailers. They didn't like pull a star treatment on anything. And so we just sat around and we talked. What it did was take the nerves away from me, working with the stars of the show, and with Miles Teller and Juno Temple. Juno Temple is on Ted Lasso, and I'd been watching the show and I really liked it. And here she was, and I'm in a scene with her. Well, I'm going to act differently if I'm quote unquote impressed by Juno Temple than if I'm working with these people. So by talking with them on the set, you get a sense of who they are as people. And so by the time you're doing the scene, I'm not seeing them as these big TV movie stars. I'm seeing them as the people that are in the scene with me, and that we're working together to make this movie, The Godfather. Now, the second way to connect with your scene partner is ask them about their background. How do you get into acting? Where are you from? What's your story? Little things that give you a connection to that person. You may find out something about them. Depending on the type of scene you're doing, you may find out something about them that will play very well together in that scene. Again, it's all about building the connections so that you're able to enter that scene with a connection with the other actor that you can then exploit. Because remember, emotions are real. Acting is lying. Acting is manipulating emotions. And so if you have a real emotion with this person, then you can manipulate that and use that for the scene. So that's number two. Find out and talk to them, ask them about their background. The third way to make a connection with your scene partner is to listen to what they say and what they talk about. Sometimes you may get the sense that this is not the person to immediately dig into and go, hey, what's your history? But you can listen to who they talk to. Maybe they're talking on the phone. Maybe they have an assistant. But if you're listening to them and you're listening to how they talk to the other person, you can glean a lot of information from that and allow yourself to build that understanding of that person. So the third way is to listen to what people are saying. Fourth way to make a connection with an actor while you're doing a scene together is know their history and know their biographies. It's so easy to go to IMDb and look up what they've done. Or you may know who they are because you've seen them in many things. But if you go through their whole history of credits, you may find things that either surprise you or maybe they don't surprise you, that this person is a one-trick pony, that they only do a certain type of project. Or you could find out that, they have a very varied career and there's something about them that intrigues you. And you have a true, and this is the real point here. If you have a true love of that show, or if you have a true interest, because actors are just like other people. They can know when they're being worked. But if you're like, hey, I really like that show because of A, B, and C, you could make a connection that way because, again, you're complimenting them on their work and you're making that connection. The number 5 way to make a connection with your scene partner is to actively talk to them about how you are going to approach the scene and if they would like to talk about that. This is a high wire act, of course. Sometimes there you run into a person who loves that. Other times they do not want to talk about it. If you find yourself with another actor that wants to talk to you about, or you want to talk to them about how to approach the scene, how dramatic is it? How comedic is it? What's your character? Just talking about the actor stuff, of course, that's the gold mine right there. Literally talking nuts and bolts about how you're going to approach the scene. Number 6 on connecting with your actors in a scene is notice their work habits. Notice if they have their sides with them and they're constantly running dialogue. If when you're doing the blocking before and you're doing your rehearsal before you guys start shooting, if they drop lines, if they don't know their lines, or if they're completely off book, notice how they work so that you don't step on them, because the dance between actors in a scene is very important. If you watch how they work, you can understand the best way to approach them for all of the other, ways to communicate with them or in the middle of the scene. If you're a person that has the lines down great and this other person you can see is struggling, one of the great ways is to run scripts. Hey, do you want to run lines? I love running lines with other actors personally. I will run lines with another actor as many times as they want, because it not only helps me with my lines, but it gives them confidence so that when you're done and you're ready to shoot, you're not worried about them, they're not worried about them, and you guys get a really good scene. Now, of course, when you're running lines with someone, you are not the director. You are not to direct them. You are not to give them ideas. You are there running lines. You're trying to support your other actor, okay? It's very, very important to realize that you are not the director. They will get direction from the other person. However, if they ask you, what do you think? What do you think I should do here? You should respond, well, I would do blank. Or, are you really sure you want to ask me that? But if you say, well, I would do it like this, then that gives them an option to choose from. Number 8 is a low-key way to make the whole scene go great, and that's support the other actor. Support the other actor by not getting frustrated with them. Support the other actor by being encouraging. Support the other actor by, having their back. When we did Yes Man, and we first got there, it was myself, Jim Carrey, and a woman actor by the name of Jamie Denbo. And she's wonderful. And of course, Jim Carrey is huge Jim Carrey star. I'm doing my lines. And then we did the master, and we had a break where we could, take some time. And I went to her and I go, oh my God, I'm freaking out. It's Jim Carrey. Is it coming off? Am I coming off right? And I don't know if she was lying. I don't care. She was like, oh my God, you're hysterical. You're great. And that gave me the confidence to realize, okay, I'm good. It's going to be good. And like I said, it doesn't really matter if she was lying or not. What mattered is that she had my back and that she supported me. And then from that moment, I felt a deeper relationship with her, because anyone who thinks I'm doing great is my friend. So when you're working with other actors, you want to connect with them. You want to make sure that you are having a relationship that can then be shown on screen. And that relationship will be supported by the dialogue, but it isn't because of the dialogue. It's because of what's happening between the two characters. If you like what you heard here and want to learn more, you can catch us at workingactorschool.com. We have a whole list of courses. We're always adding classes. You can sign up and have live over the internet acting classes right here from the comfort of your own computer. You don't have to live in Hollywood to train in Hollywood.